Hey guys, today I decided to do something a little bit different. It's going to be sort of like a top 8, but it's just going to be my hopes for Generation 8 Sword and Shield. The first thing I'd really love to see is alternative shiny sprites. Now, I've always loved shiny hunting. It's always been such a liberating, enjoyable experience, and I always feel like I've gotten more out of the game when I've caught that shiny that I've been hunting for a couple of weeks, couple of hours, whatever it may be. But sometimes when I finally manage to get the shiny that I'm after, it's a little underwhelming. As you can see, the shinies on the screen now just really don't do it for me, personally. They might for you, and that's fantastic. But for me, they're just a little lackluster and don't really give you that sense of satisfaction when you catch them. It's not too absurd to ask them to change these. They have done palette changes in the past, and they've made some pretty drastic changes to the color schemes, so it is a possibility. My fingers are crossed. The next thing I'd love to see is a new IV and EV system. Now, the one we have isn't terrible. It works, it gets the job done, but it can be a little bit confusing and it can make it hard to pinpoint exactly what you're trying to do. I know for me, having best, decent, and whatever the others are written around the stats can be helpful, but when you're looking for that perfect hidden power type, it doesn't do it. It doesn't add, it doesn't help, and that can be really frustrating and really difficult. Additionally, having a numerical value underneath the stats, just saying, oh, you've got a 31 here, you've got 18 here, would be so much easier just to figure out exactly how you can get that hidden power and just reducing the amount of time you have to spend slaving over breeding. Additionally, the EV method, much the same, just have a number value. It would make it so much easier to see what you've done, what you need to do, and what you need to undo if you've perhaps trained in special attack when you meant to do attack. I feel like these changes would make the competitive scene really pop and make it more accessible to a lot of people. I know myself have struggled to put teams together, particularly when I need them to have a hidden power move or an egg move or something like that. So just making breeding that little bit easier would be phenomenal and I think really benefit the game. The next thing I really would enjoy is following Pokemon. Now, since Heart Gold and Soul Silver, having that following Pokemon has been such an amazing experience. Amazing way to show your love for a Pokemon, to show off a Pokemon that you've got, even if it is just to yourself. But it's just cool having something that you've caught and put time and effort into following around. I don't think it has to be quite as immersive as the Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. Something like the Heart Gold and Soul Silver variants would do just as well. The next thing I'd really enjoy seeing in Pokemon Sword and Shield is the return of the Dex Nav. Now, when Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out, I had so much fun playing with the Dex Nav. Initially, I thought it was going to increase my odds of shiny hunting, even though it didn't, and it just had a lower base rate to start with. It was so much fun and it was so cool to be able to get hidden abilities, special moves, and increase the potential of having better IVs. Something that really added to my experience in the game, and just something that I think would be really cool to add back into a new generation. Something that's really frustrated me from the start of the Pokemon franchise is the inability to attain them all. Now, these are the 3 Pokemon lines that you can catch from Pokemon Yellow version all the way to the newest version. Now that's not an amazing selection. I know you can trade between games and you can do this and you can do that, but no, I want to be able to go through the game and pick up every single Pokemon available to me. I want to be able to shiny hunt every single Pokemon in the one game. And I think with the processing power of the Switch, this is a real possibility. I think it would be an amazing thing just to be able to have all 820 something Pokemon running around waiting for you to catch. And yes, I said 820 because I am including legendaries. No, I don't think they should just be roaming free for multiple to catch. I think the one-off encounters is an amazing thing that Pokemon has done and should continue with. I think there might be necessary to adapt the way we find these legendaries, perhaps having to have, similar to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, finding the Reggies. It was a journey. You actually had to figure stuff out. You had to read Braille, for God's sake. I think adding things like that back into the game would just get people more involved and really feeling a sense of achievement when they have caught that 820 odd Pokemon. With that being said, I understand that they do a lot of event Pokemon and they do bring them out like that. But for some countries, Australia being one, we don't get all of the events as quickly or as frequently as other countries. So we do miss out a lot of the time on shinies that are only available through events or event Pokemon. So I think being able to catch all of them in the one game would just add so much to the game and make more people really, really want to just get involved and catch them all. Something that was introduced in, I think it was Black and White 2, was the hard mode or challenge mode, however you want to say it. I think that was a brilliant way to open the game up to a wider variety of players. Not just the people that want to do a casual run through, but those that really want to put some effort into it and really train a proper team with EVs and correct IVs just to make the game work, just to be able to beat gyms. You had to EV train Pokemon. And I think that was so amazing as just a bit of a post-game expansion, I guess, opening up so much more, and then potentially going back on what I had said about adding the legendaries and new ways to get the legendaries, having it that you could only get certain mythical Pokemon if you had beaten the game on challenge mode would be so cool. Again, adding to the sense of achievement for completing the game on a harder difficulty, as well as being able to do it on easy if you really just want to have a nice free roam through the game, not really focus on too much, use some Pokemon that you don't really need or think will do too well, but just spicing things up, giving it a shot. I think being able to choose the mode you're playing in was just a really smart idea. Now obviously with a new game comes new Pokemon, and I think new type combinations are bound to be coming with it. I think type combinations are something that have been a little bit neglected in the past. As you can see on the screen, there's quite a few variants that aren't yet out there. And I think adding them in would be really cool, add a lot to the game, and make it more enjoyable for people that had specific types that they really enjoyed. With the addition of the new starters have been really cool, really impressive, and I personally really like the design of all of them. I was thinking earlier today about what the potential typings for them could be. Unfortunately, some of them do look like types that we've already got, but little Grookey there could turn into a fire grass Pokemon, which would be awesome. Haven't seen it in the past, hoping for it because I think that's just a really cool combination. Reducing that effectiveness of fire damage, just being really cool. When I initially saw Sobble, I thought that's a Newt / Chameleon. And I automatically thought of the Fire Belly Newt. Don't know why, but I just thought turning him into a water fire Pokemon would be so cool. Now, although it's been used before, it's only been used with Volcanion, which is a legendary and not many people have, so having it as a readily available type combination would be really cool, and I think it would just add that extra little bit of something to the game. With Scorbunny, it's kind of hard because I would love him to be a firefighting. But we seem to get a firefighting Pokemon every generation, and even I have to admit, it's getting old. So, as a complete contradiction, why not a Fire Fairy? A combination that hasn't been used yet? I think it would be cool. Just having that little Fire Fairy bunny running around at your feet. Yeah, I think that would be a really cool addition to start a Pokemon. Now, to this day, my favorite game so far has been Pokemon Pearl, Diamond, and Platinum. Why? Because of the post-game. The Battle Frontier was so much fun. It added so much more, and it added something that I haven't been able to get from another Pokemon game, and that is the Battle Factory. Being able to go into a battle, have random Pokemon with random sets that I probably would never use at my disposal was so cool, and gave me a lot of really cool ideas for teams and Pokemon in the future. It just added to my own knowledge. It was really, really important for my growth, and I'd love to see it come back. The last thing that I would like to see, and it's something that's been quite prevalent in the media so far, is the possibility of an open world. Now, being able to run around like in Skyrim or Zelda is such a liberating, beautiful experience. Knowing that that world is yours and you can go anywhere and do anything, with exceptions. Obviously, if you come across a level 70 Pokemon and you've just started out, it's not going to fare too well for you. But you know what? That's all part of the game, and that's all part of the experience. So I really think that having an open world would be cool. However, by the look of the map that everyone's been seeing and being shown, it doesn't look like you're going to get too much of an open world experience. Having sort of blurred edges from the mountain ranges on either side sort of tells me that that's not part of the game. Don't go there, don't bother. Which is upsetting, but totally understandable. As I said earlier, with the addition of all 820 Pokemon, with the Switch's processor, it's definitely a possibility, and I think that that would be something that would make Pokemon really go next level and make that Generation 8 something to be desired. Anyway guys, that's all from me. Thank you so much for coming by. Please remember, like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you see. I'm trying to get into it and do as much content as possible. Let me know if you're enjoying it. Bye!